My name is Colin McMahon. I'm a senior manager in UCD Research. I manage a team of research managers that support the development of large-scale interdisciplinary research initiatives at UCD. I studied chemistry in UCD, graduated in 2001, went on to do a PhD with Professor O'Neill in electrochemistry and biosensor design. Did that in 2005, went to work in Intel for 4 years as an implant process engineer, managing the implant toolset at Fab 24. And then I left, went back to academia, to DCU, worked there for a little bit, founded my first startup, which was focused on microfiltration, so a self-regenerating micron filter. Worked on that for about 3 years before setting up another company, which focused on microfabrication of lab-on-chip devices. Worked there for about 3 years. Then moved into consultancy in the US for about 2.5 years, and then went into consultancy in Ireland, in Dublin. Most of my consultancy experience was around, I guess, economic development, technology development, startups, innovation management, that kind of thing. Between then, I did a master's in technology management at Smurfit, and then went on to work at UCD, came in as a research partner, and I now lead the team. Working across startups, industry, academia, I guess, has helped me understand, I believe at least, the academic culture, environment, and set up reasonably well at UCD. In other institutions, I've worked across 3 different RPOs at this stage. I guess my background in chemistry was key to getting the job in Intel. Came in as an engineer. My background in electrochemistry and physical chemistry was pretty important, understanding the different processes that I was working on. Having worked as a PhD researcher, working autonomously, understanding complex challenges, and I guess tolerance of ambiguity. I think that's what my PhD taught me most. I guess I draw on that experience, but also more recently, the startups I've been involved with, when I work with researchers to try and help them scale their research or to identify opportunities for longer term initiatives. So that experience of working for myself, as academics do, largely, working in interdisciplinary collaborative environments, managing teams of engineers, working across and working for as a client with funders across the IDA, Enterprise Ireland, etc., has helped me, I guess, understand both the funding landscape, the opportunities that I can help academics to target, and having worked, as I said, with a PhD, having worked on the bench and had a very brief stint, I think it was 3 months as a postdoc, I can identify with the challenges I think that academics face. So like a lot of that experience is translated. I've managed to translate that into this role. I think that background has stood me well, both in terms of that technical background in chemistry, the interdisciplinary work that I've done across industry, academia and industry. I think I draw on that every day. Yeah. So a typical day, I think the best thing about my job is there's no typical day. It can range from working on a large scale multi-million euro project with the team to trying to find out how to get a contract across the line with colleagues in legal. There is no real typical day, but it's never dull. That kind of love of ambiguity I mentioned before, I think means I enjoy the role. I get to work with UCD's top researchers across a range of different challenges and issues that they want to address, help them as much as I can to find a path to funding. So again, it covers a range of different activities. Spend a lot of time in meetings. I need to work on that. But it is never dull, and it's always interesting. I think working with the team to develop large-scale opportunities. So I really like and enjoy working with academics, with colleagues within the research partners team, within the programs team, within the wider UCD research team to identify and build opportunities with academics from an early stage through to completion. And these are typically large multi-million euro bids. And I can draw on my experience in consultancy in startups, but also from my PhD, looking to communicate, I guess, what that idea is and convince industry and or funders to get behind it. I really enjoy translating, I guess, that from an early stage through to a completed bid and ideally a successful one. I guess my experience as a PhD researcher, as a chemist, you build a kind of strong analytical and logical approach to things, problem solving. I think that stands to me. I have sometimes a habit of becoming a bit too logical and a bit maybe too process oriented, but I like to challenge myself on that. I think the most important thing about the role are maybe the soft skills, and working with different people from different backgrounds, different disciplines, and trying to understand the best way of trying to communicate opportunities and challenges with those researchers. I think my background in chemistry and a PhD working with different teams, but mainly I guess I draw that from working in industry and from working in my startups. I think that's where I've learned most about those types of skills, and in consultancy obviously as well. Yeah, a lot of consultancy is kind of communications and different ways of capturing inputs and developing reasonably logical outputs. So yeah, they're the main skills and attributes I think you need for this role. I think a lot of the challenges I face have been a result of failure and grappling with that failure. I had 2 companies that I founded. Neither of those scaled significantly and ultimately weren't successful. A lot of that came down to trying to do everything myself, and that may be a legacy of my PhD. Maybe I've learned the hard way that it's not possible to do everything yourself, and you need to bring people in and work with people to develop opportunities. I translate that into the role now, I think. So yeah, most of the challenges have been largely around that side of things. As a father with 3 kids and a dog, I think the role I have now allows me to maintain that kind of, access to that level of kind of risk and excitement when it comes to kind of the startup approach, new bids, new grants, new centers, while also having a personal life and not working every weekend. So I think I've arrived at a position where I kind of have the best of both worlds. And I think the challenges that I faced on the way have shaped me and I guess helped me to be better at my job. So, advice for undergrads. I think chemistry is a really great fundamental degree. It teaches you a great deal about a very vast area and a lot of sub-disciplines. So you kind of you can deal with a lot of different complex considerations and produce logical results and outputs from that. I think that stood to me certainly. I think chemists are very valued in the industry workplace, and not just in the chemical industries. I went into the semiconductor and Intel, and I think my degree helped greatly. Also as my PhD as well, because chemistry is pervasive. It is a degree that is very well respected, and it opens up doors into different industries. So whether you want to work in industry as a chemist, or you want to work, I don't know, as an engineer, or you want to work and set up your own company, I think chemistry, because it's so vast and because it covers a lot of different areas, will give you a really, really good foundation for the future.